I'm 82 years old, and for most of my life I honestly believed there would always be more time. I didn't think that every day. I didn't wake up saying it to myself. It was quieter than that. It sat somewhere behind my choices, behind my delays, behind the way I told myself I'd get to things later. It felt reasonable, safe even. I'm saying this now because time doesn't feel endless anymore. It feels counted. And when it starts to feel that way, certain memories stop staying quiet. I'm not recording this to explain myself. I'm not looking to be understood. I just don't want these thoughts to disappear with me. Some things deserve to be said out loud at least once. When you're this old, the days slow down, but the years feel close together. Whole decades sit side by side in your mind, like books on a shelf you never organized. You remember moments you thought were small. You forget things you assumed would stay. Right now, I live alone. The apartment is quiet in a way that doesn't feel temporary. I know every sound it makes. I know which floorboard complains, which pipe ticks at night. I know how the light moves across the wall in the afternoon. It doesn't surprise me anymore. It just passes. When I was younger, I thought time passed differently. I thought it waited for you to be ready. In my 20s and 30s, life felt like something I was setting up. I worked long hours. I told myself it was necessary. I wanted stability. I wanted to be dependable. I wanted to build something solid so I wouldn't have to worry later. None of that felt wrong at the time. That's important. I didn't feel like I was making bad choices. I felt responsible. I married in my late 20s. Her name was Helen. She was patient in a way I didn't fully notice then. She had a habit of pausing before she spoke, like she was choosing which words were worth using. I admired that. I also misunderstood it. We talked about plans a lot, not feelings. Plans felt safer. Plans had timelines. Feelings could wait. We had 2 children, a boy first, then a girl. I was proud of providing for them. I told myself that showing up meant working hard. I told myself there would be time later for the rest. There were nights Helen would ask if I could sit with her for a few minutes. I'd say soon. I didn't mean no, I meant later. Later felt harmless. The kids would want me to come into their room before bed. Sometimes I did. Sometimes I didn't. I told myself they'd forget. I told myself there would be another night. I didn't notice how often another time became my answer to things that didn't come back around. Years went by without any dramatic breaks. No shouting, no disasters. That's how you miss it. Everything looked fine from the outside. We went to school events. We ate dinner together. We paid bills. We stayed busy. Busyness can look a lot like purpose if you don't look too closely. By my 40s, routines had hardened. Conversations became shorter. We all knew what to expect from one another. That felt like comfort. It was also distance, though I didn't have that word for it yet.
Helen and I stopped asking questions that didn't have clear answers. We didn't argue, we didn't dig. We assumed we understood each other because we'd been together so long. I remember one afternoon clearly. I was late getting home. She was sitting at the kitchen table with a cup of coffee she'd already finished. She looked tired in a way I hadn't seen before. She asked if I ever thought about slowing down. I laughed a little and said maybe someday. I said once things settled. I said there'd be time. She nodded. She always nodded. That moment didn't feel important then. It feels heavy now. Our children grew up. They left. The house changed without making noise about it. Helen and I filled the space with habits. Television in the evenings, groceries on the same day every week, familiar silence. I told myself this was what lasting looked like. I didn't realize that time wasn't waiting. It was moving, quietly, without asking if I was ready to notice. And by the time I began to feel that something was skinning, something was already gone. That's where I'll pause for now.
Helen got sick in her early 70s. Not suddenly, not in a way that demanded attention all at once. It was gradual, the way so many things are. A little more fatigue, appointments that started to stack up, mornings that moved slower than they used to. I adjusted my schedule. I helped more around the house. I told myself I was being present now. I told myself this was what showing up looked like. But even then, I kept assuming time would stretch. There were conversations we never had because the days felt full enough without them. There were moments when she seemed like she wanted to say something and didn't. I didn't push. I thought silence was respectful. I thought not forcing things was kindness. One evening, she was sitting on the edge of the bed, holding her sweater in her hands like she'd forgotten what she meant to do with it. I asked if she was cold. She shook her head. She said, very softly, that she wondered what our life would have felt like if we'd been less careful. I didn't know how to answer that. I said we'd done our best. I said we'd been lucky. She didn't argue. She just looked at the floor. I wish now that I'd stayed quiet long enough to hear what she might have said next. She died 2 years later. I was there. I held her hand. It was smaller than I remembered, lighter. She looked at me once, the way you look at someone when you're checking if there's anything left to say. There was. I just didn't know how to reach it in time. After the funeral, people talked about memories. They talked about her kindness. They told me how long we'd been together, like that answered something. I thanked them. I nodded. I did what I'd always done. At home, the silence was different, not empty, specific. I started noticing the places where time had passed without me noticing. The chair she used to sit in, the cup she preferred, the way the house held on to routines even when the person was gone. That's when it became clear. Time hadn't betrayed me. I'd misunderstood it. I'd treated it like something I could manage, schedule, save, use later. I thought as long as nothing went wrong, there would be chances. But time doesn't announce itself when it's leaving. My children visit when they can. We talk kindly, carefully. There are questions I think about asking now. Some I do. some I still don't. Old habits don't disappear just because you recognize them. What's different is that I feel the weight of what's left, not in a dramatic way, in a practical one. I know how many mornings I have the energy to make coffee. I know how long I can walk before my knees remind me who's in charge now. I don't regret my life the way people imagine regret. I don't wish I'd been someone else. I just wish I'd understood that presence isn't something you postpone. There are things you can't return to, not because you failed, because you waited. If I'm honest, that's the hardest part. Knowing I wasn't careless, I was patient, and patience used the wrong way can cost you more than recklessness ever does. I don't have a lesson to give. I don't have a neat ending. I have a small number of days ahead of me and a large number behind me, and I finally see how thin the line was between them all along. If this feels familiar to you, you don't need to say anything. You don't need to do anything. Just noticing it is enough. I'm going to stop here. Thank you for staying with me this long.